You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the wonderful world of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio the amazingly wonderful Lou from Wardini Books and Havelock. How you going, Lou?
Morena Ken, I'm very well. Good to be here, queer.
Yes, you too. Can you believe it?
It's Māori Language Week, come on.
I know it is.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Can you believe a whole week has gone since we last spoke?
No, but I'm constantly surprised by the passage of time these days.
It just flashes by. Way to get to my age. I think, gee, where'd that year go?
Yeah, this one's been the fastest ever.
Has it what?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got 3 great books to review again today. We're going to start off having a look at Ravi's Roar.
Ravi's Roar by Tom Percival, and that's a bit of a standout cover, isn't it? With the lime green.
I love it.
With the, I think it's orange or red. What would you say?
I would say it's red.
Yeah, Ravi's Roar written on it, and the little boy there who looks a little sweetheart, but there's just the suggestion of some ears and a little tail going on. So, picture book for children of probably about 3 and up, and it deals with Ravi's anger. So he is the youngest and the smallest in the family. Everyone's bigger than him. And they all look pretty friendly and lovely, and they are. Even Biscuits the dog is bigger than Ravi.
I love
Biscuits
the drawings.
Is lovely.
They're
yeah,
amazing.
Such action,
Yeah,
isn't there?
look
in
at
them? And most of the time, being the smallest is great, but sometimes it isn't. So he has to squash in there. Everyone else got a comfy seat, but Ravi had to squash in with Dad and Biscuits. Then Biscuits made a bad smell.
Oh, no.
Yes. And all sorts of other things happen. He plays hide and seek, but because he's little, he can't find anyone. You know, they're all up a tree or they're somewhere where he can't find them. And then the monkey bars are too high, and he gets cross, and his face goes red. And I think the last straw, actually, he's getting quite cross there. And then when Ravi went to get his ice cream, because the family had all gone before him, there was none left.
They'd run out. Oh, no.
Well, that really did it. So look what happens. It's like an Incredible Hulk moment. So he's furious, he growled, and this stripy tail pops out from the back of his shorts. Then he sprouted 2 furry ears, sharp pointy teeth, and stripy orange fur, and he just goes nuts. But he finds it, he roars like that, which is just, don't you wish you could do that some days?
You can just tell.
Yeah. And it's great being a tiger. So he just bosses everybody around for a bit and shouts at them, and is generally hooning around the playground. Nobody dared to say no because he's just completely
He's a tiger.
Lost himself. But then what happens is nobody wants to play with him because he's being a complete git. So he's quite sad. And then can't remember why he got angry in the first place. And he is boy enough to apologise, and then he becomes a boy once more. And that was the last time that he ever turns into a tiger. Even Biscuits is giving him a hug. Isn't it lovely?
That's lovely,
and they're so forgiving because I think they understand why he got cross. Although every now and then he does have a bit of a growl, which is okay. So I think it's a wonderful book for children to explain what anger is, and how sometimes you feel that life is unfair and you get angry, but that you can get angry, you can apologise, people will forgive you, but try and control it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I suppose at one stage or another we were all the littlest in our family. Were you the littlest in your family? Were you the youngest?
Yes, I am the youngest.
You are?
Yeah, I've got 2 older brothers.
And did you get teased and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, they tell stories because they're quite. One brother's 12 years older, one brother's 8 years older, and they tell stories like, "Oh yeah, we dangled you down that drain that time," or we were in that paddock that we shouldn't have been in, and it wasn't a paddock, it was like a. I don't know if it was a railway siding, somewhere we shouldn't have been, and they were supposed to be looking after me, and an Alsatian came chasing after them and they threw me over a fence. I love those stories. They're great.
Great stories. I love that. That's my sort of brothers you got there. Our next book is called A Strange Kind of Brave.
Yeah, it's a chapter book for older children by Sarah Moore Fitzgerald, who I'm a big fan of. She's a wonderful writer, and she writes about weird stuff sometimes, and they're almost like thrillers for kids. So I would probably put this about 10 years plus, because you've got Jake McCormack is the villain of this. It's an Irish town called Clanfedden, and over the years he has taken over the town, and he pretty much owns everything. He owns most of the buildings. It actually starts with he's just killed a boy. He's run him over deliberately on a bridge, and you're like, okay, well, what the hell's all that about? And then you go back in time to figure out what's happened. But he knows he's going to get away with it because he gets away with everything, and everyone's terrified of him. But this family the Spinelli family moves into town, and the mum used to live there years ago when everything was quite bright and breezy in Clanfedden before Jake McCormack became as evil as he is. And they basically end up buying a building that kicks his betting business out of it, Jake McCormack's business. So that he's very cross about that, and has this sort of vendetta against them. But they have this beautiful Italian restaurant in there, and it's all lovely. And there's a young girl that lives there, and they've only ever had the library to focus their thoughts. But she becomes involved with this Italian restaurant, and it's all going to go well, but it's the revenge that Jake McCormack is going to wreak.
Yes.
So it's a thriller, and it is full of menace, but it's full of friendship and forgiveness and people's secrets coming to the fore, and nice mystery.
Yes, good. Happy ending.
I'm not going
Spoiler.
to tell you.
And the last book, and it's not about my place, A Rich Man's House.
The Rich Man's House, and it's literally Mr. Richmond's house. And Walter Richmond, he's a billionaire, and he's built himself this dream home, which is the observatory on a little island out in the Pacific. And the whole premise of the book revolves around an alternative history. So Mount Everest is not the highest mountain in the world. The Wheel is the highest mountain in the world. It's 25 kilometres in height from sea level, and it's out in the South Pacific. And Walter Richmond is the only person to ever have stood right at the top on a rock formation that they call the Hand of God, because it looks like a hand. And cost millions to get him up there, you know, with little huts being put up along the way, and electricity pipe and water piped up there. And there were many deaths. There were about 22 people die on this mountain. Ed Hillary died on that mountain.
Wow.
Mallory died on that mountain. Just remember, listeners, it's fiction.
Yeah.
Before people ring in and say, no, that didn't happen. So he's built this house, and an architect built this amazing house that looks out to the Wheel, the big mountain, 10 kilometres across the water. And the architect dies in the house, and his daughter is invited to in his place to celebrate when the house is opened with another sort of interior designer and all the people that have things to do with the home, which is incredible. You go up in a lift 2 kilometres up a rock to get to this house, and it's got a massive staff, and it's got pools, and it's got games, it's got everything. And but the thing is, with the daughter Rita, she in her youth thought that she could commune with presences in the earth or in the rocks or that kind of thing, and had a massive breakdown and eschewed it all and said, no, I obviously just made it up, I was bonkers. But she goes there to the Wheel, and there's a massive rock all around her, and weird stuff starts going down, really weird stuff. And it's quite incredible. So you get these snippets of newspaper reports and extracts from books that tell you the history of the Wheel right back to 16 whatever, when it was first seen. And Walter Richmond's involvement with it, and Rita's dad's involvement with it, all these newspaper reports, as well as what's actually going on while Rita's there. It's fascinating. Sounds
great.
It's great.
You're nearly at the end of it.
Nearly at the end of it. It's got some quite horrible stuff in there as well. So it's a real sort of edgy seat. Oh my gosh, sort of thing.
500 pages. What do you rate it at 10 so far?
It's nearly 600, wasn't it? Didn't we establish? Yeah. It's a good 10 out of 10. It's a cracker.
10 out of 10 doesn't get you better than that, does it?
No.
Okay, just remind our listeners, want to come and get one of these 3 fabulous books that we've just reviewed. Where do we get them?
We get them at 16 Tomato Road, Wardini Books Havelock North, and Wardini Books Napier, 44 Hastings Street.
And we can visit your Facebook page, your web page, and your
Instagram.
As always, my pleasure. You look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next time.
Kia ora, Ken.
Kia ora.